Hi, everything that I'm talking about. So I'd like to kind of read it to you. Been a 13 years, and he's figured out how to block signals and stuff that helps your brain and all this other stuff. And I've got a few other subjects to talk about. One thing I just want to throw out there real quick. When all this first started happening, I had a walkie-talkie recognized, and they said he's home right now. And I was like, "What? Did you hear that?" And even my girlfriend heard it. It was very odd, and that's when I started realizing that this is the same voice that I hear. That's weird. So maybe get a walkie-talkie, or if you have one or something like that, just kind of have it sitting out by you and have it cycle through the channels. And when you find one that is speaking or something, stop it for a minute and just listen to what they're saying. I'm going to read off of this website here. Actually, before I get into that, this morning, I want to talk about how they were trying to program my brain when I was sleeping. So as I was going to sleep, I was just reading and trying to meditate at the same time. This is good practice. But at the same time, they told me that I had spoken the words or something like that. And so at this point, I think they can use my voice in a manipulated way and have me say anything that they want. So I went to sleep. As I'm waking up in the middle of the night, I hear myself talking, and I wasn't talking, I was sleeping. And so I listened for a minute, and they were using trigger words, trying to say that I was confessing to things that I never did and all this stuff. And I would say, wait, what are you doing? That's not me. And so at this point in time, I do believe that, they're trying to incriminate me in a way that they can stop these videos and get you guys, back on their program without any knowledge. Like as of right now, they're saying my name and trying to get me to stop. And it's because I found this website just a few minutes ago, and it really explains a lot. So here we go. Very explanatory or self-explanatory. A person who had studied science at 10+2 level can understand this picture. Our point of concern is electromagnetic waves. The picture talks about the verifying frequency of the electromagnetic wave emitted from different media. These electronic or different media, so like different things in your house that has an electronic wave. These electronic waves can be penetrated through walls of a house, human skin, and bone of the human body. All of us know about reflection and refraction. As electromagnetic waves, and in this case, radio signals travel, they interact with objects and the media in which they travel. As they do this, the radio signals can be reflected, fracted, or diffracted. These interactions cause the radio signals to change direction and to reach areas which would not be possible if the radio signal traveled in a direction line. Radio signals may also undergo diffraction. It is found that when signals encounter an obstacle, they tend to travel around them. This can mean that the signal may be received from a transmitter, even though it may be shaded by a large object between them. How does remote neural monitoring work? How many times did you have thoughts that you have never wanted to share and have been constantly worried and thought of someone ever finding about these thoughts? All of us, that's why shadow work is very important. All of us have been through this process, and the new and improved technologies being developed around the world, supposedly to deal with crime and on one's privacy, should probably bring us all to the brink of paranoia. These technologies are funded by governments at the highest level, and some of the countries involved include USA, UK, Spain, Germany, and France. Recently, the infamous National Security Agency of the USA has developed a very efficient method of controlling the human brain. This technology is monitoring and is expected to revolutionize crime detection and investigation, things that I'm not doing besides these videos, and I don't see how this is incriminating. This is just trying to help people, and myself. So where's these incriminating things? They're taking things like me walking through the store, and I don't know what they're doing, but they're trying to incriminate me on everything. Like, even they'll be like, think of stealing that. And then I'll think about it, and they're like, oh, we're going to incriminate you on that. You have criminal thoughts. They're putting these things in our head. Anyways, I'm a little excited today. I feel like this is like a breakthrough type thing. This is information that everybody needs to know. R&M works remotely. Ever wonder why have we all been driven relentlessly towards wireless systems to control the brain under the objective to detect any thought taking place inside the mind of a possible culprit? Inevitable question. How can this undertaking is based on two principles. The emissions from the brain can be decoded into current thoughts, images, and sounds in the subject's brain. It sends complicated codes and electromagnetic pulse signals to the activated evoked potentials inside the brain, thus generating sounds and visual images in the neural circuits. With its speech, auditory, and visual communication systems, R&M allows for a complete, I say there's an AI involved. This is how they're able to stay up all day, all night, weekends, middle of the night when you wake up, that's how it interacts. It sounds like the same person, but really it's just an AI bot back to you in a conversation sense. Excuse me, I got a little string here. You're going to notice this cap here. This is like an EMF blocker for like 5G and stuff like that. You can find those online. It doesn't stop the signal, but it may block it a little bit, or to decode the resonance frequency to modulate the insertion of information in that specified location of the brain. Hold on one second. Because we're not living in typical time. I was playing some meditation music. Meditation is very important. Let's see here. R&M can also detect hearing via electromagnetic waves, and has also featured the transmission of specific commands into subconscious, producing visual disturbances, visual hallucinations, and injection of words and numbers into the brain through electromagnetic impulse, or manipulates radio waves. Sorry. Also, it manipulates emotions and thoughts and reads through thoughts remotely, cause pain, controls of sleep patterns. That's why we can't sleep, through which control over communication is made easy. This can be used for crime investigation and security management or harassment. Nowadays, latest R&M can be detected by human brain, mobile devices, satellites, and supercomputers. I call them quantum processors. NB, there is a group in Facebook, Remote Neural Monitoring, how to block remote neural monitoring. Certain observations have been made about these signals. They tend to be beamed through the window of a room where one spends the most time, like right here for me. Usually the window facing a front street, and that's exactly what's going on. I'm facing a front street right now. They are specifically directed to the target and track a person inside his home. It's to search and find the target as in the new location. And this is where you get that replay where they say everything you're thinking, they say everything that you're saying. I don't know about you, but they always tell enters the area in his home that the signal cannot reach. The signal goes on a wide search mode, thinking the target has left his home and is traveling about. See, I'm getting a mixed signal on my video, and they're telling me that they're gonna stop it. And I just literally had a note on my video saying that my connection is being disrupted. Anyways, when the primary window is blocked off, the signal finds another wall or window to penetrate. One can feel the effects of this signal, which may induce a dull headache or pressure in the temples. And this is where I was talking about in the other video, when I get headaches through here. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Cell phone towers are used to generate these signals. HAARP may play a part in this as well. That's not for sure, but it's saying it could. A target person is tracked either via some signature characterized by the resonance characteristics of his skull or DNA, or by tracking signals emitted by implants put him into during abductions. And they talk about abducting all the time. Or perhaps by more sophisticated methods, compute and form the calculations necessary to alter the signal of each or three cell phone towers so as a triangulate a hotspot of signal at the target's location. I have cell phone towers all over where I live, and I don't know why there's so many. Besides, the 5G doesn't really travel too far, so they need to get them close together. When the target moves, these signals consist of a microwave carriers with ELF module and audio encoding messages code, pretty much. The microwaves resonate with DNA, can penetrate flesh and bone, pass through some walls and windows, and are already used by cell phones. So if it's already being used by a cell phone, it's easier for them to do it through those areas. These signals train brainwaves into a high beta state, which causes aggression and stress, or an alpha level that induces hypnotic state and muddled thinking. This is exactly what I was talking about yesterday. You get angry, you get and I always comment is pretty spot on sometimes, and they tell me that they're like, wow, how do you know that? Your terminology is just right, perfect. Especially when I started talking about how the trigger word weighs on a person. They use a weight system. So that's one thing that, terminology is huge. And if besides an ELF wave that train one's brain, there are also other signals consist of audio messages. I have not verified what these messages are, but they could be something along the lines of, you are angry, you cannot think, you give up, you have no energy, etc. To me, they say doubt yourself, or don't doubt yourself, or whatever. They try to use reverse psychology. And then it's pretty much like trigger words. Or trigger phrases. This is trigger phrases. These audio message could be modulated into a microwave carrier via frequency modulation, while the ELF brain entertainment signals could be amplitude modulated. There may be emotional signatures frequency modulated into a carrier. These can induce anger, frustration, sadness, or essentially any human program is actually producing when it's used right. And so now they're using these other tactics in order to get the targets that they need to stay and get the funding. Basically, there are two types of mind control systems employing ordinary EF frequencies, or RF, and those employing scalar waves. Both types have different characteristics. However, scalar waves are very difficult to block. For both types, the most effective shielding is simply distance. So stay away from cell phone towers, pretty much. And that should be something that we all do anyways, because of the radiation, and the waves are just so damaging to our body that, they don't care. UHF frequency and harmonic of it found in a microwave band. Oddly enough, the microwave harmonic frequency found at about 1.2 gigahertz is disturbingly close to digital cell frequencies. Technologies has a new coating called Unishield that will block radio signals. This compound is mainly intended for cell phones, wireless, and or other devices, which may include some listening devices. It is intended to prevent hackers from tapping it on, and dries in about 30 minutes. Challenges using shield paint. The difficulty comes with mind control signals and whether this paint will stop it. Mind control equipment is highly classified, and they don't publish data sheets for their equipment in the internet. Some research would not be applicable to the technology. Since some mind control signals can originate from satellites, be prepared to also shield your ceilings and floor as well. For carpeted floors, you may have to take up the carpet and pin underneath the laminate flooring and carpet back. Hardwood floors are even more difficult, of course, because you paint your hardwood floor. The bedroom would probably be at the top of the list, followed by the living room, wherever the room is in which you spend all of your time in. One being in for about 10 minutes. The cage needs to block electromagnetic waves in the frequencies from about 1 hertz. ELF radio waves to megahertz. If they can send signals to your body and mind for over 5 minutes, they will lose contact with you. An expensive watch, Tesla watch that's available all day and night, one on one's left wrist. It seems to minimize the electromagnetic pollution around. It's saying that I'm losing signal again. Whether it can be induced by perps or naturally occurring by surrounding electronic devices such as computer, TV, electrical appliances. Healthy foods, melatonin supplement naturally found in the body to help you sleep. Take 4 3-milligram tablets daily. Ginkgo biloba helps organic brain syndrome. Use 1 teaspoon a day for one of the following. There's cod liver, extra virgin oil, flaxseed oil, omega-3 and 6 fatty acid, B multivitamin complex, mental health absorption. Black grapes rebuild DNA. Blueberries help memory. Apples 3 a day. Green vegetables are brain food. Pasta is car energy. Banana is potassium. Let's see. Books to read. Dr. Haha Lung, or Lung, Lung. Okay. Dr. Psychology, Mind Control, Psychological Warfare, Mind Penetration, and I've always called it psychological warfare or terrorism. Using mirrors. Try placing a mirror on the floor near you and let me know what occurs. One will feel different for a little bit, and now one feels much better. Although one can still hear the V2K, it is not as loud. The nervous system and has trouble sleeping, it will go away. I didn't know that one, a mirror, huh? Practice meditation to use hair gel and body oil, which can give a cooling effect because it heats your body up, and that's why we feel hot and sick and have headaches and stuff, because it's heating our body up. Those microwaves is like being in a microwave, and it's horrible. Heavy-duty plastic, rubber, and rubberized fabric. Voice to skull is a minimum of a radio frequency scanner, which has the capacity to pick up frequencies in megahertz range. A portable acoustical frequency detector, a portable EMF detector with a loop antenna and a substantial quality of copper wire mesh. I have a piece of moldavite, and it's literally like the oldest type of meteorite that is found, and oldie music. I used it, a copper, and I made kind of like a Tesla coil around it to kind of amplify. Let's see, substantial quality copper, aluminum foil, which is kind of like cliche, tinfoil hat or whatever, but don't think of the hold on one second. I've got a dog that needs attention. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Dog was stuck in the room. Okay, so I gotta swipe back up and do my little code here. Aluminum foil sheet can block electromagnetic signals up to effect it'll be. Dark colored clothes absorb electromagnetic wave to some extent. Avoid stress in trying to comply. You got to stay in that positive state of mind. A sleep of minimum of 8 hours is absolutely necessary. See, they try to deprive you of sleep, and that puts your brain in a state that it won't work efficiently. So that's why they do that. And so it's easier to program. I've got some things that they said when I woke up, and I'll tell you here in a minute. Neodymium magnets, a special type of rare earth magnets has the capability of totally disabling the chip's implant. I think this guy thinks there's a chip implant, which, with technology nowadays, it could have advanced, so maybe back in the day there was a chip implant or something like that. But I'm not really sure. I still don't know how it sends back. And that's the part that I'm trying to figure out, is how the signal is sent back. There's got to be some kind of transmitter that sends it back. And I don't know if it's nano-sized or if it's literally a chip. Maybe it's our cell phone. That could definitely be it. I just thought of that. So, or my computer, or your internet. If you've got internet close to you, anywhere in like a football field sized area, it could be transmitted back. Let's see. Magnets around the top of the skull as a triangle and 3 around the forehead, offset from the top. Interferes with the technology. NB. I had fallen prey to it something 13 years ago during my first visit. And so this kind of talks about him and his experience. I know people don't really like watching hour-long videos, but I've just got so much to say. It's saying my connection is unstable again. I've got pretty good internet, and there's no reason for my internet to be slow. So I don't know how to explain that. I mean, especially when it never does that. Let's see. So it just talks more about him. And it goes into comments. So I don't know and put that on there. I wrote probably like 5 or 6 pages to kind of talk about, but I think that was pretty good information. I'm just going to talk about like the little PowerPoints that I've kind of put out. So I already talked about the walkie-talkie. Let's see. So the dream or waking up last night, listening to them speak in my voice. That was, at first, it was kind of like, what the heck? I'm not saying that. How can I be talking in my sleep like that? You know what I mean? I never do that. I've never done that before. So this is a new tactic. This is them using my own voice. So I literally must have said everything that I was supposed to say for them to be able to manipulate my voice, program me. They're always talking about reprogramming me while I sleep. So let's see. I asked them, are you using my voice? And yes. And then I asked them, let's see, where did I write that? I'm just going to read it. When I woke up this morning, they started picking at me about my dreams. I asked a question. I got a reply. I hear no interaction. I say any comment. The guy, one of them interacted, and she goes, no interaction. And I was like, I didn't say that or think it. And she goes, I was just reminding him. And that's interaction right there. Her saying that, I was reminding my colleague here to not interact, because I get him to interact all the time. I trick him. And so that's interaction right there. She goes by the name of Lisa. So, and that was a trusted voice during a time of my life that I was looking for someone to speak to, and so they used that name. And it's probably going to be different for everybody. They trigger single word to phrase, back to single word. After you wake up, test what they have done overnight. So what I do is I use their trigger words against myself and see how far they've come and how much they weigh on me. See how much the trigger word affects me on an emotional level. So the emotions are very key to their remember them. Not everybody can remember their dreams. And how they play into your day, week, month, or whole experience, games to play. I call them games. They're not games. This is not a game. But I like to trick them. They've been doing it. So change the way you speak. And that's very important. Never stick to the same terminology. Try to change your words to explain things. Whatever you say, just try to switch it up. I use like different eras. So like say 90s, what I used to say in the 90s, the way I used to speak, or like 80s, I'll look up things that people used to say in the 80s, or, you know, just think of what it means to you in your mind and they'll start using it. I used the word condescendence one day, and that's what they used to explain my personality to them. And then I changed it to cottonseed, and I explained it in like probably 5 or 6 different ways. And next thing you know, they're saying your cottonseed is. He just changed the algorithm. He just changed the word to cottonseed, and now we can't stop saying cottonseed. And see, that tells me that either it's brain to brain or that's the AI to get the algorithms. Let's see, style of thinking, memory games. I believe that AI is does most of the work. So when the neural programmer find an object, okay, so this is a game. Find an object, remember it as something else. So look at like a purple cup and think it's a blue cup. Or yeah, think it's a blue cup and see a blue cup in your mind. Don't see a purple cup, but see a blue cup in your mind while you're looking at the purple cup, and ask them what color is that cup. And don't think of the color. It's really hard. Uh, 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 Anything, a book, a lamp, a kite. Think of something different. Make them, don't do anything but make them answer. It's reconnecting right now. I don't know if it's actually taking effect on the video, but I don't want any of my words to be interrupted. So it shows they only remember what you remember, because they are brain to brain monitoring. So I believe when it's brain to brain, they see through your brain, your eyes, and if they can, they have been trained to do this. This next game I don't advise doing. I say caution, you know. This one, you need to use your belief systems. And this one can be dangerous. So I don't advise anybody doing it. I just want to show you what I do. Picture a situation in your mind, an innocent one. Then change it to an incriminating one. Add something, take something away. Do something in that situation that is incriminating. And make your heart beat like you're guilty. This is where your heart monitoring of yourself and manipulation of yourself comes in. This is more advanced, I would say. Don't even try this if you can't do this on command. Since you believe, they will believe. They will terrorize you with it. And this is just a way to mess with them, you know. They don't know the difference, you know. But like I said, it's not always a person. They're building algorithms on you. They're always triggering 24/7. This is impossible for an individual to be up that long at a time without sleep. And it would be sleep deprivation, you know, to them. And they're not going to do that. They need to be in the strongest, healthy mind that they can be. They do the pitches and all that stuff so their voice can be manipulated or replicated into the AI system. They use the chat bots. In my situation, it seems like they do shift changes. A new group will walk in and they do a rundown on how I'm working today. Since I constantly change my style to mess with their algorithm systems, you know, it could be a game to them for me, you know, and so I can't really tell you if the shift change really happens or not. You know, this could just be them messing with me. Does this happen with your experience? Do you experience somebody walk in, it's condescendence? Do they comment about what you're watching on TV, or like you're doing the things that you're watching? They can't tell the difference. What you get scared or something, they think it's you, and they'll comment like it's you. That I found where these offices are. I don't have exact locations, but I know there's one in Washington on the West Coast, Portland, Oregon, in the Chinatown area, and the Bay Area in California. My internet is, again, reconnecting. It says your connection is unstable. Please wait until, okay, reconnected. So Portland, Oregon, Chinatown, and Bay Area, California. And then I didn't even look at the other side, but there's some on the East Coast as well, and some down in the South. I'm always told that I was picked, I was found in Portland, Oregon, and California. And so that's why I, you know, And that was a while ago. This was years ago. And I don't live anywhere close to there anymore. And that's why they're always like, oh, we're coming to your house. Where does he live? And they'll tell them where I live because I give them my address. And they'll be like, what is he doing over there? You know, it's just like, he moved. It was a long time ago when we found him and picked him. So I don't think there's a list. I think maybe it is a list, but it's people they find to try to manipulate, you know. And that was a part of my life where they could see me as a criminal, you know, but I really wasn't a criminal. I was just addicted to drugs, you know. And so I have changed my lifestyle completely. And they try to trigger me into relapse and all that kind of stuff. And to be completely honest, they did get me to relapse one time. And that's when I realized, you know, like, oh, I can't let this happen anymore. You know, they're bringing me down to a level of full manipulation, and they made me do an action. You know, let's see. Playing off belief systems. Okay, I've read all that. They keep telling me my condescending attitude is keeping me on the list, but I'm a good person. So what does my attitude have to do with anything? Why should I show them respect? This is not respect towards me. Why should I give respect when I don't get respect? And I never signed any forms, you know, to be on this. This is totally against human rights and the Constitution. If I change my attitude, they'll take me off. But if I change that part of my personality, they will more easily influence my brain to the way they want it, reprogramming to their satisfaction. I can't say the word. It's probably them trying to whatever, or that could be just me thinking, trying to connect things. My brain works really fast. I can't shut it off. This is where it gets annoying to them because I shut up components and the logistics of things. And I think maybe this is what they're interested in, because they've been trying to keep telling me to look at like time travel and stuff like that on how to create it. And they always tell me to look in schizophrenic probably about a year ago. And it was a mistake. You know, even the doctor said that I wasn't schizophrenic. So they tried to put me on a bunch of medications and all that stuff. And even the medications didn't make any difference. You know, I was still there. The only difference was I was jaw dropping constantly. And I call it jaw dropping where you're like, and all you're doing is thinking. I've noticed that the time lapse through the day is really fast. And I'm not sure if this is a side effect or not, but time goes by really fast for me. It seems like just a few minutes ago, it was 11 o'clock, and now it's an hour past, you know, and my video only says 39 minutes, you know, so where are the other 30 minutes? You know, I think this might be a side effect, is time lapse. And this is where they get you at night, you know, time will go by really fast. And next thing you know, you got to go to work, you know, and you're like, dang it. And then so you don't really know what you're doing. If they can get you in this, they're trying to label everybody. And so if you're not a criminal, they're going to get you with mental illness. And this is where that schizophrenic commercial comes in saying that, you know, analyzing it. So when it happened to you, it's normal. You know, everybody's got it. You know, everybody's hearing it now, you know, and then they're going to come up with different reasons on why we're hearing it and why we're getting schizophrenia and stuff. And it's just normalizing, you know. I asked what religion they were, and one of them replied Christianity. They were telling me my belief in crystals and human power and chakras keep me on the list. And I believe that's because crystals is a threat to them, because it helps us be more empowered, and they don't want us to be empowered. They need us at a more controllable, docile level. And I believe that's why they try to shrink or calcify our pineal gland, because our pineal gland makes us an individual. So I wrote down odd things. Do you ever realize that you never see or hear? They've even said to me, oh, he's a YouTuber? Oh, take him off. We can't do that. And I believe that's because YouTubers are already influencers. They're already influencing the masses, so they're not allowed to be on the list. People with contracts, not just someone like me. I'm just making random videos. I don't get very many views and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not considered a YouTuber. I don't have a contract. I'm not making money or anything like that. I'm just putting videos on. I'll be an influencer at that point. These people are, they go to classes to be an influencer. They learn trigger words, trigger phrases to get you to buy products. So, and I saw all this on documentaries and all this kind of stuff. This is public information. Everything that I've learned is either on YouTube or documentaries on these other video platforms. So they're giving us this information. They're just not expecting us to put the puzzle together. So that's one thing you want to kind of look at. Just kind of realizing, like kids to buy toys. You go into a store and be like, oh, I saw that off of this one. I saw that off of this one. I want words like epic. I don't know if you guys have ever heard. Everybody on YouTube uses the word epic. Epic, and that's how they say it. They drag it out, epic. And maybe that'll be big store for us. And when this happens, they can use these trigger words to make you more relaxed about the situation, because you hear that word all the time. It's called conditioning. And let's see, influence the masses by products, kids, toys. Since considered type of programmer, they are left alone. They even take classes on how to influence. Trigger words like epic, and hey guys, they're talking to more than one. I mean, I thought that's pretty much all the information I have today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll definitely answer it on my video, or maybe I'll comment. But I like to stop and talk about dreams for a second. There's a lot of dreams that I have, and one of them was, and in my dreams, they trigger pain. I don't know if you can feel pain in yours, but I feel being triggered. And they can use this to kill somebody or hurt somebody. If somebody already has an existing illness, it could cause complications, and that could possibly injure them. So this one dream I had, it was going through multiverses or whatever. And this is what they explained to me, and they put me in different positions. They're like, this is you as this, this is you as this, this is you as this. Well, this one was me as an old person. And I'm sitting in this hospital. And they corrected me, and they're like, no, it's called brain to brain. And so they're like, this is interfacing. And they're like, look in front of you. And I looked in front of me. I'm in this hospital. I'm an old person at this point. And it's in the future. And this kid, this teenager had this cell phone that was see-through, and it was projecting a light onto their face, and it was projecting a game avatar face, right? And they're like, that's interfacing, and that's going to be the future cell phone. And I was like, what? Okay, that's kind of cool, And they're like, look to your left and look at the TV, and there was a big screen, right? Big old screen. And it started showing me the features of this phone and how it worked. And so I was more interested on where I was at and what I was doing there. And so I start looking around, and there's two kids sitting in some chairs in front of me. I look to my right, there's doors going outside. I was in a big city. I left, and there's stairs going down, and then like a big area where you go in to check in. And there's a nurse behind the counter, and there was a big face, her face. I didn't see a cross on her hat, but she was wearing a hat. I asked, what am I doing here? And they're like, you're older, you're in the future. I'm like, okay. And they're like, you're about to have a heart attack, and your connection is on. So yeah, little interruption. Oh, it's interrupting again. Okay, so I'm sitting there, and they're like, you're about to have a heart attack. And I was like, okay. And all of a sudden, my heart hurt really bad. My chest got really tight to the point where I barely breathe. I roll onto the floor onto my chest, and I'm screaming, and I'm like, ah! And people came up behind me and started trying to help me and stuff. And right before I felt like I was going to die, I woke up. And they were like, you just had a heart attack. And I was just like, what? So maybe that's what it feels like. I mean, yeah, I felt tightening in my arms and everything. Like I felt it all. There's other times where, like I was being attacked by a dog under the table. I have this in another video, and they told me that they were trying to give me liver failure. Um, there's been times where I've cut myself. My leg got gashed horribly, and I woke up and I felt the pain for like 5 minutes after I woke up. Like I still had these injuries, and I had to rub my leg because it hurt so bad. Um, they've taken just the other night, last night actually, they took my breath away. I was sitting there. They put me in a bed, and I was in my dream, of course, and I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe, and I was sitting there trying to speak in these videos, and that's how I interpret it. You know, they're trying to take my voice away. But I couldn't yell, and I was to yell for help. I was going, help, help, help. No matter how hard I pushed, nothing really barely come out. And they do this constantly to me, in my dreams, and they will talk to me inside my dream as I'm waking up all day to back into my dreams. They don't leave me alone, not even in my dreams. And that tells me I'm doing something right, because they're paying a lot of attention to me right now. And there's nothing they can do, because everything I'm talking about is just my experience. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I'm just trying to get words out for you guys to do your own and to feel more comfortable about your situation so you can stay positive. They don't want that. You know, they're very into negative negative qualities in people, and I think that's what they feed off of. So I think I'm gonna let that one go and put this video up and see where it takes us. If anybody has any questions or comments or anything like that, feel free. I'm always here. If I don't ever come back, start looking. You know, like figure out where did this guy go. They're constantly threatening me on a daily basis, saying that they're going to throw me in jail for obstruction of something or trying to take down the government. I'm not. I believe in our government, you know, that need to be regulated, that need more rules and laws against certain things. It's like behind closed doors, you know, this is what they're really doing. And this is why it's so important for us to be communicating back and forth, so we can figure out what they're doing to everybody and figure out the constants, the things that don't change between everybody, you know, the things that they always do to everybody. And that's what we need to figure out, because there's so much unique parts to our experiences individually, things that we need to bring up and try to manipulate back, you know, because this is very unfair. I got another interruption. I'm going to wait for the reconnect, and then I'm going to quit this video. But I hope you guys have a good day or good night whenever you watch this. So it went away. I got my connection back. I just want to say have a good night. You know, I hope this is helping you. Don't take my experience and verify these things to yourself physically, and don't just listen to videos and get your information from other people. Take it into consideration and do your own research. I got another interruption. So I'm going to stop this video. Something that you can try to do today is figure out your triggers. Know your triggers. That's something that is very important. See you later. I'm Rickles. Namaste.